Just across Lombard Street from Atman's is a little street you might not notice, Horseradish Lane. The name recognizes the business that Harry and Lena Tulkoff and their family built from a little grocery store in the 1920s. But instead of the store morphing into a deli as Atman's had, Harry and Lena turned to food production and distribution. And while the company is no longer called Tulkoff's Horseradish Products and creates many different things, this impressive facility in Baltimore County is the house that Horseradish built. Theirs truly is an American success story. Tulkoff's is still very much a family business. Phil Tulkoff is Harry and Lena's grandson and is the president of Tulkoff Food Products. You know, I can remember when I always had a jar of Tulkoff horseradish in my refrigerator, and any deli you went to also had the horseradish. That was a long time ago. What did we use the horseradish for besides making the gefilte fish taste better?
Well, I agree with you. I think that's the only way you could get the gefilte fish to go down, if you ask me. But I think, beef, I think, is the main use for horseradish. Our staple tiger sauce, which was horseradish, and mayonnaise was for prime rib. And people still use straight horseradish for pit beef today.
So white horseradish, red horseradish, the difference?
Color. So back in the day, the tradition was literally to grind beets in with the horseradish to make it red. Today we use beet juice, and it's really just a coloring. So I hear people have a preference one way or the other, but in truth, it's really the same product in just a different color.
Do you like horseradish?
I do.
Do you still use it?
I do. And I'll do beef, like I mentioned before, but I also even like it on poultry, like chicken or turkey.
Yeah. Well, there is still a tradition for your horseradish, and that comes around Passover, because you make horseradish that's kosher for Passover. Do you make any other kosher foods?
Most of what we make is kosher. We only have a small group of products that are not kosher. And for instance, pesto. We do a pesto for food service that has a cheese in it that's not kosher. We could substitute a kosher cheese, but then it becomes very, very expensive and probably wouldn't sell. But the vast majority of what we produce out of this facility is kosher.
I wonder, do you still feel like you have a connection to Lombard traditionally?
I'll use the old pun that it's definitely our roots. Horseradish will never not be a part of what we do. Believe it or not, it's not the #1 product anymore. It's second to the garlic items we sell, but still a major, major component of what we produce, and obviously what people know us for.
So what would your grandfather have thought of this facility?
I think they probably would have been a little overwhelmed. I mean, while it was still growing when they were alive and somewhat automated, we've kind of moved beyond that by leaps and bounds.
Phil, how has your business changed?
So the biggest part of it has been growth over the years. We've gotten a lot larger. We pretty much command the food service industry in the garlic and horseradish markets, and we sell to most restaurants, caterers, and hotels in the country. But another big part of our growth has been co-pack or co-manufacturing. We're making other people's products for them. So it's a lot of national brands on the shelf that you would recognize, but it doesn't say Tulkoff anywhere on the package.
Do you have some memories of working here or being here when you were a kid?
Sure. So my earliest memories would be probably 7 or 8 years old. And during the summer, I would try to go down with my dad every once in a while to the factory and spend the day with him. He got up really early. He opened the factory in the morning, so he was up at 4 a.m. and we'd get out the house and drive down to the factory. I remember one of my favorite parts of going to work was lunchtime, because we were directly across the street from Atman's, and we would have an Atman's corned beef sandwich for lunch.
So, the next time you need a little kick in your food, reach for the horseradish. It probably comes from Tulkoff's.